Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 20th of February, 2024. An interesting streaming day because up until like halfway through the day, I didn't even know what I was doing on my late stream today. Reason being, originally this week I had multiple streams of co-op planned with my wife Kat in the Dondoko Island minigame in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. But after having done it twice, basically we got super bored with it and didn't want to do it again. Come to find out, when I actually played the game last night, I don't ever need to do it again. Like, the only thing you get in the Dondoko Island minigame is money. And at the very end, you'll get, like, one secret super attack that's kind of overpowered and not really needed to beat the game. But I made enough money that I was able to level my characters up last night and get to a point where now it's almost self-sufficient. There's these dungeons you can go to, challenge dungeons. And when you grinded them, you get money that's actually more than what you were making during the Dondoko Island minigame. So I don't need to do it again. So we did the necessary amount of gameplay and left an open night tonight to do kind of whatever. So we had a poll going. Do you want to see me do some Tekken 8 with my Yoshimitsu, who I actually made a custom version of last night that kind of looks like Casey Jones from Ninja Turtles? Or do you want to just have a chill session? Because recently there's been a lot of demand to have me just kind of hang out with the audience and talk rather than play a game. And, people were interested to see how it would go. And so that's really what people voted for tonight. So let's now talk about how today went. First of all, on today's podcast, we had some interesting chill topics, nothing too crazy. But one of the major topics that we ended up talking about is how I'm getting mixed feedback. And what I mean by that is, it's weird because some of the feedback people are leaving in my suggestion box thread is shorten the podcast, do less talking, do more gameplay. But then I do a poll, what would you guys like to see for the random Tuesday night stream? And people vote for a late night chill stream with talking. I'm like, wait, what? So we talked a little bit about that and other various topics and the like, a chill podcast. And then we jumped into Baldur's Gate 3. And I would say today was a good stream of Baldur's Gate 3 where we got firmly into Act 3, got some big story and plot dumping stuff right at the beginning of the stream, explaining the whole Illithid plot line, and now we kind of get what's been going on the entirety of the game. We also arrived at, I think it's called Rivington. It's a town on the outskirts of Baldur's Gate, and basically this was neat because all of Act 2 had been set in this location with this shadow curse, and everything was basically destroyed, and people were trying to survive in this really messed up environment. Now you're back onto like the surface of the world, and it's normal stuff again. So it's a town that seems like a normal fantasy town you would see in any RPG. You're exploring around, you're talking to the townspeople, you're investigating different mini plots and things like that, doing little side quests you're discovering. It was a lot of fun. There was a side quest about investigating these children's toys that have been donated but actually were dangerous. There was a side quest about investigating a circus. Cool stuff. So I had a great time with it today. Looking forward to more tomorrow because we haven't even finished exploring this town yet, so there'll be more of that. And definitely a solid start to Act 3. A lot of interesting stuff happening. And then tonight, it was literally called Chill with Phil, a late night chill stream here where I just hung out with my viewers for 2 hours. We had decent attendance. I think we started over 400 viewers. By the end of the night, we were still over 300. Decent amount of support, mostly tips, but decent amount of support. And some pretty interesting questions. I would say probably 3/4 through the show, it was great. Last 15, 20 minutes or so, or it really started to lag and people had run out of questions and were starting to ask ridiculous things in the chat. But yeah, for the most part, it was a great show. Very entertaining. Liked talking with the audience about various different topics because it had more time to be fleshed out with the answers rather than it being like me trying to go through answers of Q&A during my podcast, which sometimes you could really have to rush to try to get an answer out that you want because of the limited time to get started with the gameplay. And I really felt like it went well. I think people in general liked it. Like so many topics that we talked about, I don't even really want to like go over them here, but a wide range of stuff. Sometimes people ask me the same questions I used to be asked, and I gotta reiterate it now for a modern audience because I haven't talked about it in a while. In other cases, totally new topics, interesting stuff. And in truth, I'm kind of glad we did this tonight, and the reason being, overnight, there's going to be not one but two big gaming announcement shows on the internet. The first is at 6 a.m. Pacific time, which is a Nintendo Direct, and then at 7 a.m. Pacific time, they're doing the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC announcement, which is supposed to be the release of the trailer and some gameplay elements. Likely try and give us at least a release window of when it's coming out. So I'm going to have those things to talk about on tomorrow's show. Obviously, I'd like to focus on that rather than anything else, and that means we're not going to have as much time for like Q&A and stuff like that. So it made sense to kind of have that chill stream tonight, and it worked out very well. So, in general, great streaming day today. If you weren't there for the Chill with Phil show, 2 parts will be live on the channel tonight. I split it into 2 1-hour parts. Hope you'll give them a look. And by all means, if you weren't there in person, leave comments on the videos, your thoughts on the topics that were discussed. I'd love to hear your input. I read all those comments and approve them for the videos so that, I will get your input if you leave some, and I would appreciate that if you did. All right? Tomorrow is my final consecutive streaming day of the week. More Baldur's Gate 3. Well, first of all, on the podcast, we'll talk about the Nintendo Direct and the Elden Ring announcement. But then more Baldur's Gate 3 on the first stream, continuing on with the early parts of Act 3. And then on the late stream, more Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And the good thing about this stream, we are now going to focus on major side stories and story-based progress. No more Dondoko. No more grinding in a dungeon. No more buying stuff. You know what I mean? I want to do major progress now, and I feel like we're well set to do it. So for the first time in about 2 weeks, we'll actually make solid progress in the game and go from there. So it should be a nice stream if you're interested in the game and you didn't like the busy work stuff of the last 2 weeks. Tomorrow we get back to serious business. All right? Everyone, that's it. Great streaming day. I wish you all the best. Have a safe night. I will see you all in the morning. And I'm excited to talk about the gaming news then with you as well on the Level 1 podcast. All right? Peace out. Have a good night. See you then.